Hello everybody and welcome back to another video on the channel. Back with another tipping video today. I'm pleased to announce that I got 9 out of 9 last round. Can't remember the last time I did that before round 8 of this season. I don't think I did it at all last year, to be honest. And I'm not even sure if I did tipping the year before that. Or the year before that. So yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, it was a pretty easy round to tip. I went all the favourites. The 50-50 game I got right. I felt like Brisbane definitely, they were in better form going into that game. They had a better team, and I know it was in Melbourne, but I still just had confidence that Brisbane could get it done, and they did. The rest of them were all easy tips. Everything that you would have expected to happen did happen. So yeah, now let's just get into my round 9 tips. Alright, Friday night footy. There's going to be 2 Friday night matches this round, and both of them I think are going to be pretty one-sided. So I'm going to start off by saying this one's going to be a 24-point margin. Not 24, 54-point margin. Yeah, I think Geelong should account pretty damn easily for Richmond. Richmond had a win over West Coast by 46 points last round, but a win over West Coast means literally nothing. To be honest, they are the easiest team to beat right now. There is nothing special about beating them by 46 points. Carlton beat them by 108 points the week before at their home ground, and they got done up by Brisbane the following round. So yeah, Geelong, they're back. I'd say they're playing the best footy of any team right now, and I think they should account for this one pretty easily. As for the next Friday night game, well, the team we just spoke of being the easiest team to beat, West Coast. I mean, what more do I say? Gold Coast Suns, they're not the greatest team, but they're a whole lot better than West Coast. Gold Coast by 51. Alright, a little bit of a harder one to tip, in my opinion. It's going to be the 12th vs 13th matchup. Sydney and Fremantle. Sydney in some pretty poor form right now. Fremantle coming off against a win over the second or third easiest team to beat in Hawthorn. Depends on whether you rate them higher than North Melbourne, I guess. But I'm gonna back in my team. It's at home. Fremantle, despite their big win over Hawthorn, I don't believe they're that good yet. I mean, surely we get a win eventually. So at our home ground against Fremantle, I'm going to tip us by 17 points. North Melbourne taking on Port Adelaide now. This will be an interesting matchup. Jason Horne-Francis will be playing against this old team. Kind of wish this one was at Marvel, not in Tasmania. Not that too many more North Melbourne fans would probably rock up, but it'd be nice to have a little bit more of an atmosphere for the Horne-Francis battle. I mean, Port Adelaide, they won the same matchup by like 69 last year, and to be honest, they should win it by even more this year, because Port Adelaide are better than they were last year, and North Melbourne right now look about the same as where they were last year. So yeah, I'm gonna tip Port Adelaide by 82 in this one, because they are in red hot form and North Melbourne are not. There's going to be a lot of smashing this round, I think, because I can't see Hawthorn getting anywhere near this one either. I'm going to have to tip Melbourne by 78. Yeah, I mean, Hawthorn got done up by Fremantle, who I think are a lot worse than Melbourne. Melbourne are what? They're second on the ladder? I believe they were second on the ladder going into this round. Yeah. I don't see how Hawthorn really get anywhere near close to this one. So yeah, Melbourne I'm going to tip by 78. Alright, hopefully this should be a bit more of an entertaining matchup than what I predicted the last few to be. Brisbane, they're in red hot form. Essendon, they've lost a few in a row now, but they've still looked okay. They haven't looked really poor in any of those losses. They've been in and around. They've been hanging in the contest. They took it right up to Collingwood and Port and weren't too bad against Geelong. But at the Gabba, I think Brisbane should get this one done. I'm going to tip Brisbane by 19 points because yeah, they're showing why many people tip them to make the grand final, win the flag at the start of the year. They finally knocked off some decent opposition in away from home and more importantly in Melbourne, where they haven't really been going particularly well over the last few years. So they're starting to show signs that they're getting better. Charlie Cameron is he is in career best form right now, and there's some of the other players, Josh Dunkley, he's been fantastic in the last few weeks. So yeah, I think Brisbane should get this one done at home by 19. 50-50 game, this one. I'm going to go Carlton. They normally play well against the Bulldogs. They're looking a little bit shaky right now. Bulldogs have been good. They've been getting a lot of wins. Hasn't been against the best opposition though. So I'm gonna tip Carlton to edge this one out by 7 points. Curnow and Mackay, they like kicking goals against the Bulldogs. I think Curnow's kicked like 12 in his last 2 matchups against the Bulldogs. Mackay's kicked like 12 in his last 3. So the big forwards, they like playing against the Bulldogs, and I think that should get the Blues over the line in this one. Adelaide taking on St Kilda at the Adelaide Oval. This should be a pretty entertaining matchup. I'm going to tip the Crows because it's at home. They've been very solid in their last 2 losses to Collingwood and Geelong, who are probably the best 2 teams. They should have won that game against Collingwood if it weren't for inaccurate kicking, and they came pretty close to pinching it at the end against Geelong, down in Geelong. So it wasn't a bad performance at all, and I think they should account for St Kilda at home and get back on the winners list. Final game of the round. Despite the ladder position of these 2 sides, I think this could be a fairly interesting one, since Collingwood don't typically like winning games by big margins, and GWS, they have looked pretty decent in the last few weeks. They've notched up a couple of wins, reasonably solid in defeat against the Bulldogs. And yeah, I think that could lead to a pretty good matchup here, but I'm going to have to tip Collingwood to win this one by 16 points. That will be the round of tipping done for myself. So Collingwood's still on top with only the 1 loss. Port Adelaide moving up into the top 4 with a big win over North Melbourne. St Kilda slipping outside the top 4. Adelaide back in the top 8. Bulldogs slipping outside. And the rest of the ladder looks more or less the same. Gold Coast move up a couple of spots. The bottom 4 is probably going to be set like that for a little while now. If you did enjoy this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.